Read less books, but read them more often. Oh, I read the same books a lot. You'd be surprised. I do go broad on books, but in general, most books suck. Most books, they got to fill up a whole set. The publisher says, yo, I need a 250-page book, so fill it up. They got one good concept in it. Sometimes when you're weak, you can, that's like the art of war. When strong, appear weak, you know? You are making less money than people dumber than you. That's because they're bold. The 5 habits to getting anything you want with health, wealth, love, and happiness, okay? I'm not an expert on the afterlife or spiritual things, but health, wealth, love, happiness on earth. So the habit is reading, fasting, building. About 10% of people can learn by listening. I don't know why, but I was born in that I don't mind learning audio. In fact, I'll tell you that here's a real cheat code. Audio, visual, kinesthetic. Train yourself to be good at all 3, but know your dominant form. 80% of people are kinesthetic, or 60%. Kinesthetics means like you want to learn to build a house. I say to you, I build homes. Here's a hammer. Follow me around for a couple weeks. You're going to get good. That's old school. And that's what I said. The East does kinesthetic, the guru. You follow the guru who teaches you how to breathe, teaches you how to think. America went the audio way, which only works on 10% of people. That's why the school system is spitting out, you know, a crazy stat that people don't believe me. I got to Google it in front of them. What do you think are the 3 big expenses that governments and people spend globally every year? What do you think is the number 1 spend? What do we spend in the world the most on, or almost the most on? Healthcare is 9 trillion. So 9,000 billion. Okay. What do you think is another big government expenditure? We talk a lot about it in America. It's like, but military. The world spends only 2 trillion on military. So I guarantee you the wealthiest men in the world, 10 white men, people, it's not all white men because you got 2 Indian guys, have as much wealth as the bottom 4 billion. So half the world wealth is less than 10, 12 dudes. I have a hypothesis on why that is. People say capitalism's evil. That's not a good explanation because capitalism may be broke, but it's less broke than any other system we have. We've tried socialism. It doesn't work. It's not capitalism that made those 10 men so wealthy. It's technology. If you have a technological edge and you get in early, technology never gets tired. So when Microsoft, he started building, Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, Paul Allen, and Bill Gates, they came together. They figured out, they bought software, by the way, M&A deal. They didn't come up with DOS. They bought it for 70 G. So technology is a great part. The other way is I guarantee you those 10 or 12 men learn from all forms of learning. They can do audio, visual, and kinesthetic, whereas the average person can only do kinesthetic. So I always say, people, if you can't learn audio, what happens when you brush up with a genius one time in your life in an elevator? Okay. And he says something to you that if you listen would unlock all wealth for you, but you haven't developed all 3 ways of learning. It'll go in one ear, out the other. People I mentor, I'm like, the reason they're like, Tai, I don't learn by you telling me, or I don't learn by books. But I'm like, but that's all you have because Einstein's dead. And there's no YouTubes of them, really. There's one video, I think, of Einstein. So you have to learn through books. That's reading. So in an ideal world, you have a dominant way, but you develop every type of learning. Reading, audio, visual, kinesthetic. Everybody already has kinesthetic, so you don't have to practice that one. So you had chat rooms first. That's first wave of social media. Included in that, I would probably put in Friendster. That was the first one. When I was at the Amish, living at the Amish, I was no technology. My friend was on Friendster, Dave Benfield. So that's first wave. Second wave was kind of, and I would even put MySpace first wave. Second wave was Facebook, pretty dominant force from around 04. Now, the end of the second wave was like TikTok caught the second wave. Let's say it happens in about 10-year stints. So like 96 to 06 is first wave, social media tech. 06 to 16 is second wave. That was very dominated by Facebook. MySpace dropped out of the picture by like 09. Mark Zuckerberg, through M&A control, buying Instagram, he controlled it. Around 16, I remember, you kind of had the end of it. That was Snapchat came in, started threatening so much that Mark Zuckerberg said, we got to make stories. Mark Zuckerberg's smart. Good artists copy, great artists steal. He stole stories, or else he would have been unseated at the end of the second wave. Third wavers is like TikTok came in. But the third wave's not over. So let's say third wave is, you got still another 5 years. Whoever dominates the third wave will hold wealth for like a generation. Evolution is very unfair. We're a blip. Now they think the universe is more than 12 billion years old. Just came out. I mean, the Earth, this kind of world we think of as the world, is like 15 or 20 billion years old. You are making less money than people dumber than you. That's because they're bold. See, to me, the letter B in brand is bold. The 5 habits to get in anything you want with health, wealth, love, and happiness. Okay. I'm not an expert on the afterlife or spiritual things, but health, wealth, love, happiness on earth. So the habit is reading, fasting, building, networking, breathing. So the first one, reading, each of these have a sub principle. So reading is the 5 mentor principle. You must have 5 mentors in your life. The reason you read is because some of the great mentors are dead. So it's just the only way to learn about Aristotle's opinion in your life is to read old books. But you should have at least 3 in-person mentors that you shadow. So reading is really mentoring. So reading, 5 mentor rule. If you do not have, and I'll tell you this, you need 5, dude. So that 5, habit number 1, you get 5 mentors. Anything's broken, add 5 mentors. So 3 in person. You need 3, and then read 2 books of software exits. Yeah, so fasting, 5-hour rule. You got to have self-control, especially in the modern world. So don't intermittent fast 5 hours a day. First 3 hours when you wake up, don't eat anything. You'll be okay. And then the last 2 hours before you sleep, don't go to bed, especially if you're trying to cut. So that's the second habit, fasting, 5-hour rule. The third habit is building wealth. And that's the 5 asset rule. If you look statistically, people try to argue with me. So I'm like, bro, I'm like, humans lie, numbers don't. It's software, brand, land, cash, crypto. You can't just have software. See, you're on the right track because you have software. But the second is build an insane brand around it. So it's software. And then you either build a personal brand, which you have. So it's software brand. That's how 80% Elon made his money with software brand. PayPal, Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, even Warren Buffett. Now he's the largest shareholder in tech, Apple. But there's 2 men who didn't do it. It's Louis Vuitton owner Bernard Arnault and Buffett. But now Louis Vuitton's like 50% of the revenue is online. So it's software, which is e-commerce, online business, SaaS, what you're doing. Build a strong brand, both personal. Steve Jobs put his face in front of it. So both personal. Elon Musk put his face on Twitter X. Then you do reinvest profits into land. Too many people reinvest profits back into the business. Never, you don't know what's going to happen in the economy. Diversify, diversify. So like Mark Twain said, buy land, they ain't making any more of it, at least on this earth. So reinvest profit into land, your version of it. Then cash management. You got to have, people say cash is trash. Well, okay, maybe, but you have to have some cash management in this world, US dollars or euros or whatever. So that's number 4 is cash management. But then the 5th is crypto, which I put all alternative assets. So you can have Bitcoin, ETH, Monero, but also I put gold and silver in there. Bullets I put in there. Backup food in crypto. And that's the 5th asset you must have because there is a definite non-zero chance that something wacky happens with dollars.